Hi, this is Rob from dmbalmanac.com with This Week in Dave Matthews Band History. From September 9th to 12th, 2005, DMB closed their summer tour supporting the Stand Up album with 4 nights at Red Rocks, their last full band shows at the venue. They originally scheduled 3 nights and added a 4th closer to the weekend as a benefit for victims of Hurricane Katrina. All 4 shows were released in a box set exclusive to musictoday.com. The 4th night had guest spots from Rashawn, Robert Randolph, David Cast, and Ivan Neville, with still the longest versions of American Baby intro and Exodus, followed by Louisiana Bayou with a new jam that's stuck around ever since. You can find all of the Red Rock shows from 1993 to 2005 at dmbalmanac.com, and we never stop looking for information on older shows. Follow us on Facebook and Threads to get daily updates with everything that happened that day in the band's history.
Have you ever stopped to think about the fans behind a band? What is it about the music that keeps fans coming back for more? Or is there more? My name is Renae Lipsmeyer, and I am the host of this podcast, The Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, a fellow DMB fan joins the show to discuss their journey with the band. Welcome to the Space Between Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of one band. If you've never listened to this podcast before, we strictly talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. So if you're not familiar with Dave Matthews Band, they started in 1991 in a small town, Charlottesville, Virginia. They have yet to stop recording music, writing music, performing music. They're still doing it, traveling the globe. And because they've been doing it for so long, they have fans literally all over the world that are die hard about their music. And when they travel, if they get to travel, what's the next tour dates? When are they going to perform again? Like, we're so wrapped up into this band. And so every episode I have a fan of Dave Matthews Band come on the show to talk about why do they listen to this music? How did they find this music? And what it's looked like in their life. So, just like every episode, I have a guest on today. So, tell us who you are, where you are, and tell us something about you.
Hello. My name is Gina Taylor. I am in Lancaster, South Carolina. Charlotte is my home venue. I'm about a solid hour from Charlotte. My home venues are Charlotte, Raleigh, and Atlanta. I've been going to those 3 venues since 1995.
My goodness.
I'm retired. I just do advocacy work for fentanyl awareness and the dangers of drugs and fentanyl.
Yes, yes.
And I'm just a Facebook page calls me a Dave Matthews Band enthusiast.
Well, I think that's
I'm a
true.
grandmother.
Do you agree with that?
I absolutely agree with that. They actually did a write-up in the Lancaster News about me because I have been to so many shows.
So when you read that in the paper, were you happy with everything that they said?
Well, it kind of made me sound like a what's the old term that they used to use? A
groupie?
The people that chase groupie. Yeah, it made me sound like a total groupie. But everything, I was happy. I mean, my daddy has always thought I was just insane until he started going with me to Dave Matthews shows. And then he realized that there's a whole lot of people just like me.
That's right. A lot.
And then my daddy's a professional saxophone player.
Wow.
And so the first time he ever saw Jeff Coffin was in Vegas. And when Jeff pulled out the 2 saxophones at one time.
Oh my goodness.
My daddy just like, I'm not worthy.
Exactly.
He was absolutely hooked. And he was like, I will never say another word. I get it. I get it. So he's actually been with me to Mexico.
No way. I mean, I'm sure he enjoyed that, right? How could you not?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have a good group now that goes with me to away shows, but for a long time, I really didn't. Before Facebook, I didn't have people to travel with me to shows, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so my dad always went with me. And when the very first time they offered the VIP tickets, it wasn't what it is today. Back the very first time was in Vegas, and the VIP experience was a full meal, and it was a special area backstage. Now, it wasn't backstage. We didn't get to hang out with the band, but it was an area backstage that had like fish, chicken, and a steak, and like all the fixins. And we had a private bathroom, and it was all you could eat, all you could drink. And we had a special way that we could get back and forth to our seats from that area where we could fix a plate, go back to our seat. If we got hungry in the middle of the show, we could come back there. We had a special entrance back and forth to that little VIP area.
Yeah.
And we had a special place we could go and buy, the merch.
Wow.
And even the ticket, all my posters are upstairs because I had to take all my stuff down in my house. But even the lanyards that they give you, it even said backstage pass on it. It was Vegas. It was at the MGM Grand, but I can't remember exactly what year it was. But yeah, my dad used to always go with me because I didn't have anybody else to go with.
Well, and I'm sure he was miserable. It sounds miserable, right? VIP, all the food, all the drinks, and then you just walk back to your seat. It sounds like something I don't know that everyone can handle.
The seats were all in the first 6 rows.
Wow.
Everybody that was in our group with the VIP, because we had to line up by ourselves. We had to be there 2 hours before the show. It was really cool.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's way
I wish
different
they
than it
would
is now.
do that. That sounds really great. Because, you're going to go to the venue and eat probably at least something. But to know that you've got steak on the way, thank you. That sounds delightful.
Right?
Did you have a place well, obviously it was at Las Vegas, so it was inside, so you didn't have to worry about heat and all of those things.
Yeah, it was at the MGM Grand where they have their MGM Grand Arena.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Lucky. So tell me, when was the very first time you even heard of Dave Matthews Band?
My dad had a car lot my whole life, and I worked there for him. And he had it for 30 some odd years. He's retired now, but we had the radio going, and this was 95, and we didn't even have a TV in Carlotte. We just had the radio going all the time, and we had it on Kiss 95.1, which is a Charlotte station, and they started playing Crash Into Me, and the first time I heard it, I got chill bumps, and I thought, that's the most beautiful song I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, wow.
And I get a lot of flack from some friends that's the song that lured me in, because a lot of people, it's a sleeper song or bathroom song, but it's not to me.
No.
So we had about, any given time, 200 cars on the car lot.
Oh, wow.
This guy came to the car lot, and he said it was in it was in the spring, and he said, Mr. Taylor, I was wondering if I could give you a price to power wash all the cars and get rid of all the pollen. They said, sure. He asked me, what would it take for him to be able to take me out on a date?
Oh, wow.
And he was cute enough.
Yeah.
And I
cute
said,
enough to think about it.
I said, if you get tickets to go see Dave Matthews Band in Charlotte, I'll go. And he said, okay. And sure enough, he showed back up, and he said, back then it was, paper tickets.
Oh, yes.
And I looked on in there, and it was lawn seats. He got lawn seats. I was really hoping for,
dude,
I thought he would go all out. Well, he was thinking romantic. So he showed up and had a blanket.
Oh, okay.
And he thought he was being all romantic. Well, he didn't get his wish, because I stood up and danced and sang the whole night. So he didn't get his romantic wish, but it did change my life.
So how long of time was there from that time you first heard Crash and really loved it to the time you went to a concert? How much time was in between that? Oh, it was really quick.
Yeah, it was really quick. But it was that show that just hearing them live, and that was when I heard all the other songs.
Right.
And I just was mesmerized.
Yes.
And that is when it changed my life. I became enthralled and just mesmerized, and I wanted to listen to them all the time. I wanted to have every album they had. And
right. What was it about their music?
Well, I loved all the different instruments.
Mm-hmm.
I played the saxophone when I was in middle school, just because my daddy plays the saxophone. I was horrible at it. My sister's a blues singer. I can't sing a lick. I got none of their talent. My whole family's musical. My grandfather had a band. My daddy was in a band called the Ardells, and they were really famous back in the 60s. And they were like above the Beatles on the chart.
What?
Like I got zero talent, none of it.
Aw.
And, my sister, she's performed all over the world. She's performed in Egypt. She's performed all over. Matter of fact, she was touring Europe when Dave was touring in Europe and wouldn't let me go with her.
Damn.
I could have seen, cared about her shows. I just wanted to go to see Dave's shows.
Probably she didn't let you go.
I feel like it was. I really do.
It was
like,
definitely. That's hilarious.
Then I'll tell you this. Do you remember when Boyd was like giving out hugs after shows?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So
I mean, I wasn't on the scene yet, but I've seen it.
Okay. Well, I went up to him and I gave him my sister's CD. It was called Hot Mess. And I said, you really need to let my sister's band open up for y'all at the Gorge, because some of the bands that y'all let open up, my sister is way, way better. Well, fast forward. In 2018, she opened up for Boyd's band, Crystal Garden, in Charlotte.
No way.
Yes,
Did she know that was because of you?
Believe it. Yeah.
Okay. You told her. It's like, this is because of me.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And she even gave me a shout out about it on stage that night when she was right before she performed. She gave me a shout out.
Good.
And I got to hang out with her and Boyd on his bus.
No. So how was Boyd? Tell us that whole experience. So you just get on the bus and you meet him, or have you met him before the bus? Tell us everything, because people that are listening to this want to know.
Before that was to get my hug, and it was a long hug, and he was super sweet. Drive safe. He was super sweet. Okay. He was super sweet. He took time with every person. He stayed out there as long as it took till every single person that showed up got a hug. And if you wanted to talk to him, he didn't rush you.
Wow.
To get on to the next person. If you had something you wanted to say to him, like how much of the music means to you or whatever, he would listen and not rush you away. But anyway, so my sister is big into crystals. Like the band was called Crystal Garden because they're into crystals. My sister's big into crystals, and she had brought some special crystals that she wanted to gift him. And so she was showing him the crystals that she had gifted him, and he was just absolutely blown away that she had brought him crystals. He just could not believe it. My sister was just telling him about what a fanatic I was about the band, about Dave Matthews Band, and that I had been following the band since 1995, and that they even wrote up an article about me in the Lancaster News in our little small town because I'm so crazy about them. And she said, Gina manifested this situation, me getting to open up for you. But anyway, he was genuinely the kindest person you would ever meet. The person that I was around and spent time with, I just can't wrap my brain around all the things that were
to come
wrote about in that stuff that came out. Like, they just don't click.
So what did you see in Boyd? Just very patient, very kind. Was he personable? Did he...
He was very personable. He answered all kind of questions. Like my sister was asking him all kind of questions about stuff in the music industry that I didn't have any idea about what they were talking about because I'm not in the music industry.
Right.
She was just asking about stuff about, because she's more of an independent.
Oh yeah.
Because the blues is just not as big in the United States as it is in Europe and stuff like that. So she has her own label, and she puts the money together to make her own albums. Yeah. She doesn't have a record label.
Right.
And so it's difficult for indie artists in the United States. And so, I mean, he was just offering her advice and tips and help that he didn't have to do,
Right.
And he was just super sweet. And I brought a sweatshirt, a hat, tickets, and he took the time to sit and sign everything I brought. Pam was like, I cannot believe you brought all that stuff in to sign. You're just taking advantage. I was like, I know, right?
Seems like an opportunity to me.
I still wear it proudly. I still love it.
Hell
you know what I mean? But anyway, I just can't rectify that's the same person as those stories that came out. Not the person I went. And my sister is a big auras person.
Yeah.
And she
Yes.
said that the aura she got from him does not match everything that was written about him. Like
Wow.
that, she just didn't get that vibe from him at all. And I didn't either, which I don't know anything about auras, but from him at all.
Right.
I didn't get anything malicious, anything underhanded. I just didn't.
So after your first show with your friend from the car lot, speaking of, we have to know, did that ever like turn into a relationship?
No, it didn't. I was way more interested in the band than him. But the funny you should ask, all these years
Me too,
later,
girl.
all these years later, he called me out of the blue last year, right before Christmas. He had moved out of town. He had moved to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and had just moved back to town to take care of his father.
Wow.
And he called me out of the blue and said, I just moved back to town, and one of my best friends, he was doing some work for her husband, and she said he remembered that she was my best friend, and he said, is Gina still single? And she said, she ain't never getting married. Were you crazy? And he asked if my phone number was the same, and she said, yeah. And he called me out of the blue and
holy moly,
asked me out on a date. And I told him that I told him that I'm still mourning my son, and I'm just not in a place to date right yet, but that if I should change the way I feel about that, then I would absolutely call him first.
Oh, yeah, he took you to a Dave show, and he got those tickets fast.
He
too.
did. He
Maybe
did.
just ran down to the. Go ahead.
I took it as a sign that if I should change my mind about deciding to date, that I will call him.
Yeah, he popped up after all these years. So
who knows,
first
if I hadn't went to that show,
right?
I've never heard the rest of the music and wouldn't got crazy.
Right. So what happened after that first show? Were you just like, okay, I've got to go to another one? Or was it more about just digging into the music? Because you got in really early. So there wasn't just a lot of history on then. If you found them in 95, you're kind of getting in towards the beginning.
There wasn't Facebook. There wasn't any computer thing.
Right.
Like I didn't know about I didn't even know about the fan club until 2000. I didn't join the fan club until 2000.
Mm-hmm.
So like I just would every time the tickets would go on sale that I would hear they were coming to Charlotte, and mostly I just knew that from the radio.
Sure.
And every time I knew the tickets were going on sale, then I'd buy tickets. And when every year I would go to Charlotte, Raleigh, and Atlanta, and those were my 3 shows I went to every year. And I had a lot of fun when they came to Piedmont Park in Atlanta. That was a really good show.
You made an album. But I listened to that album often.
Yeah. I was
so
good.
Show. So good.
But I want to tell you this. I have to give my sister credit for this. She's got I don't know what you call it, but it's a thing that rocks back and forth like this, and you ask it questions.
Oh, yeah. I've seen those just recently. Yes.
Well, my sister does that. And she said, ask it any question. And I said, will I ever meet Dave Matthews? And it said yes.
Now, what year was this?
And this was...
Trying to get my timeline straight.
Gosh.
Or around, like early 2000?
No, it wasn't that early. I want to say it's been 10 years since I met him.
Okay.
So, that book, The Secret, where you put things out into the universe? Okay. The whole story behind this secret is anything you want, you put it out into the universe that you want it, and the universe has a way of bringing it to you. Well, my sister sort of like lives on this philosophy, and
and I believe in it.
I would be like looking at pictures of friends that met Dave, and I'd be like, God, I ain't never going to get to meet him. And my sister come in the house and she goes, you know what? You're not. You're never going to meet him. You know why?
Because you're negative thinking.
Because you just said, put it out to the universe that you're never going to meet him. And that means you're never going to meet him. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, if you say that out loud, you're putting it out to the universe that you're never going to meet him. You got to put it out to the universe that you're going to meet him. You got to believe it. You got to put it in your head. You got to not just wish for it, want it, but believe it's going to happen, Gina.
Yes.
And when she told me that, first of all, I thought she was crazy, but I thought, why not try it?
In your first time hearing all of that, it does sound a little woo-woo. However,
right?
You went ahead and you did it, didn't you?
Woo-woo.
Now, I love it because
Went
I
ahead and did
believe
it.
in that.
And
I put a lot of
within
things out
6
into the
months-
universe and it happened.
Within 6 months, I was with some friends in Philadelphia, and I was at a hotel, staying at a hotel, and I said, I think that's Dave's bodyguard over there. Oh my God. And sure enough, so I walked up to him, and that's the last thing I remember because honest to God, I don't remember anything I said to him. I just know I cried like a raccoon. I was told by my friends that he hugged me 3 times to try to calm me down. 3 times.
It was good. It was good, I'm sure. It was really good.
They said that I could not even catch my breath. I was ugly crying. Yes, girl. Even the pictures, I got raccoon eyes. I got raccoon eyes in my pictures with him.
God bless.
So
you were
no idea what I said to him. To this day, if my life depended on it, I could not tell you anything he said to me or I said to him. I just have no recollection. I just completely, I guess I was so humiliated.
Sure. I get that.
Out. I don't know.
I get that. I do.
Anyway, 2017, my best friend is a real estate agent, and she sold a house to a lady, and this lady happened to be the VIP affairs at a particular hotel. And she and I were having lunch one day. The same lady called her and said, Chrissy, who's that band that you're so crazy about? Is it Dave Matthews? And she said, yeah. And she said, I'm checking them in today. We said, what?
Can I get a job real quick?
This was on a Wednesday. And the show wasn't until Friday. And we thought, what?
That's early. Yeah.
We couldn't believe it. They were checking in so early. So we stopped what we were doing and we drove straight there to the hotel. And we saw Jeff walk out. We didn't bother him. We just saw him walk out, and he walked down the street to the Starbucks and got some coffee and came back. And we just waited. And I went ahead and because of my sister, I went ahead and made an appointment the next day with my tattoo artist because I believed with all my heart that I was going to meet him and that he was going to sign my arm. And I already knew what I was going to ask him.
Woo.
And went ahead and made the appointment. I even brought saran wrap so I could wrap my arm in it to hold it and keep it.
You were for sure.
And my
you
Sharpie.
Were for sure this was going to happen. You had put it out into the universe
my sister said that's the way to make it
all
happen.
right, here we go. This is what's going to happen. So tell me what happened.
So we sat in the bar of the hotel and drank. And we ended up seeing all the members of the band except for Stefan. We never did see Stefan. They came and went. And we got some pictures with them. We had some drinks with some of them. And Dave.
You sat down with some of the members of the band and had a drink?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Dang,
so, but I'm still like, where is Dave? Well, I wasn't all the nerves because I've been drinking. So we got there at like 2:00. And okay, so about 8:00. Chrissy goes, oh my God, there's Dave's bus driver. Oh my God, that means he's here. Ran over there because we knew he couldn't be far.
Right.
We were standing there talking and I had my Sharpie ready and I knew as I was going to say. And Chrissy was all excited. Chrissy had her Sharpie ready. And she wasn't getting him to sign her body. She was getting him to sign a piece of paper. And we turned around and he was right behind us.
Dear God. Like
and
snuck up.
I said, holy shit. But I had been drinking all day from till this was like 8:00 at night. The reason that I turned into a ball of nerves in Philly was just like out the window. I was like, hey,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
More fun.
Yes.
Anyway, so we asked him 3 questions. First we said, how do you take your coffee?
Oh.
And he said, well, I don't drink much coffee, but when I do, I drink it black. He said, I mostly drink tea for my voice. It's okay. So then we asked him if he was stranded on a deserted island and he only had access to one group or musician, solo, whichever's band's music for the rest of his life, who would he choose? And he said, wow, that is a hard question, but I like it. And he said, I think I'd have to go with Led Zeppelin.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I said, well, I, of course, would go with you.
Led Zeppelin will
But
be fine. It'll be fine.
I'll probably just take you with me. And then I said, last question. I want you to sign my arm and I want you to draw a doodle of yourself on my arm and I'm going to have it made into a tattoo. So my question is, do you think that's weird? And he said, no, I don't think that's weird. People ask me to do that all the time. So I handed him the Sharpie.
There it is.
He drew his name and then he drew the doodle of himself. Can you see it?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this on a podcast app, just know that you're just listening. You can't see. But for those of you that are on the YouTube channel, look at this. You can see the face, the nose, the eyes. I mean, it's very clear. I like his little bit of hair on top, just a little for effect. And then right next to it, his signature. Wow. Wow. So did you wrap it up?
Out that he loved
you're already
this tattoo, the way I got the two colors on there. He pointed that out.
What does that say? I can't tell.
It's the stand-up album title. It's DMB. It's the stand-up album title.
Oh, yes. I love the stand-up album. I've talked so much about it.
So the next day, I went and got my tattoo done, and we went back up there because we knew they were going to be there all week because the show wasn't until Friday. And we ran into a bus driver, Jerry, and you know what he told me?
No telling.
He lied to you. He thinks you batshit crazy for wanting him to sign your arm and you getting it tattooed.
Do you think that's true?
I said, Jerry, you could have let me go the rest of my life without ever knowing that.
I know, because he sold it so well. He was like, no, I don't think it's weird. A lot of people ask me to do this, which is true. So why didn't he just say, hey, Dave, we're going to need for you to tell us the truth to our face, okay? If you ever listen to this, Dave Matthews, just tell us the truth. We can handle it, grown-ass adults here. Just say, yeah, I think it's a little weird, but if you want me to do it, okay.
That's right.
Dave Matthews,
Absolutely.
Let's get it together. So tell me, like,
so I don't know if he really said that or not, but I don't even care because
no, it don't matter.
I love my tattoo.
Yeah. And it's a great story.
I will tell you this, since I've been telling all these great things about my sister, one negative thing she said was, Gina, what man's going to want to date you now that you got some other man's name tattooed on your body? And I said, any man that would have a problem with that doesn't deserve me in the first place.
That's right. There are some prerequisites, and one of them is that you're going to at least respect Dave Matthews Band. You don't have to love them, but you have to respect my passion for them. So it just comes with you, right?
Absolutely. That's right.
So after talking about the next day. Go ahead.
Do what?
I said, go ahead.
I don't know if you noticed, but I have a really major accent.
No way. I've heard I have one too, but I don't hear it. No, I know. I can hear yours, honey. You have a very Southern accent. Very. But that's not a bad thing. I'm from the South.
You remember when the album came out that everybody got a CD?
What year is this around? I don't. I feel like so much stuff has happened.
The Come
Tomorrow?
Come Tomorrow CD.
Okay, yes.
Everybody got a CD that bought an album. But everybody got a CD that bought the ticket, or maybe. I don't know. It was one or the other. But anyway, we were in Philly, and somebody came out and told Dave that it had just hit #1 on the chart.
Wow.
Well, me and my girlfriends got an invitation to a private party that Dave was having for the fact that it was #1 on the charts. Couldn't take our phone, so I don't have any pictures to prove it. So you know what they say.
Understandable.
But anyway, it really did happen. But when I walked into the bar, it was in a hotel, and I walked up to him and I said, hadn't had anything to drink yet, so I was my nervous self.
Yeah, you're nervous.
Great show tonight. I said, great show tonight, Dave. And he said, no, he said, I'm sorry. He said, where are you from? And I said, Charlotte. I knew it when you said show. I said, what? I said, I don't say show different. He said, baby doll, you say everything different.
You do have a very distinct accent. I will admit that.
I said, well, I'm not really from Charlotte. I'm really from South Carolina, but I just say Charlotte because most people had never heard of my little town.
No, me too. When I try to explain where I live, people, it's like they forgot geography, like that it even existed. Like Arkansas, well, where's that? I'm like, it's in the middle of the fucking country. How can you not know about it?
Right. Well,
nobody knows.
My little town is an hour south of Charlotte, and it is in South Carolina. I'm a Gamecock, but nobody's ever heard of Lancaster, South Carolina. I just say I just say Charlotte. But Charlotte is such a metropolis city. People don't think about little Southern accent. So I guess I should have said South Carolina. But anyway, He said, "You say everything different," which I've been
That's
told.
a compliment, believe me.
I won't never forget the first time I went to the gorge. I met a bunch of people at a restaurant right there on the waterfront, bunch of Dave fans.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it was people that I'd known online for years, but it was the first time I was meeting them in person. And I stood up to introduce myself, and everybody at the table, their mouths just dropped like, "Oh my God." And I was like, "What is it?" And they said, "We just did not expect that voice to come out of you." Like, God.
As if you're an alien or something, like, well, have you ever heard
exactly.
a person
That's
from
exactly
South
how they were
Carolina
looking at me.
talk? South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi.
Alabama.
Strong, distinct Southern accents, Okay, so tell me,
So
how in the world did you said you went to the Gorge and you've been to a couple of other places. When in your mind or where in your fanship did you decide, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere other than these 3 places that I always go to? I'm going to go see him somewhere else.
Well, I didn't start traveling to see him outside of Raleigh and Atlanta until my son graduated high school. I'm a single mother, and my son was always the most important thing in my life. And I didn't want to, take away from time with my son.
So
I waited until he graduated high school. So I didn't start traveling until 2012.
Gotcha.
It really wasn't until in 2013 was the first year I went to the Gorge, and I went right by myself.
Wow.
I went, the Gorge tour bus where you fly out to
Yes, I've heard about it.
And I think Timothy Mason is the one that's put it all together. He hooked me up with a roommate that was somebody else in the group, and I flew out to Seattle, and he got a hotel. He found a hotel, got a group rate for everybody in Seattle, and I flew out to Seattle like 5 days early, and I'd never been to Seattle, and just tooled around Seattle and saw all the sights. And then on Thursday night, the bus comes and picks us up, or Thursday morning, I think. Yeah. And then the bus picks us up and drives us up to the Gorge, and we have a hotel, and they stop and let us go to like Walmart, dispensary, and we have a hotel that's like 30 minutes from the Gorge. And then every day of the show, we get up and they'll take you to Walmart if you need it, the dispensary if you need it, and then they take us to the show plenty of time early if you want to go to, Cave B or do anything like that. If you want to bring food, tailgate at the bus, you can. He has a big group picture. He actually stops at the Gorge sign, the exit sign, lets everybody get out and take a picture. You can do pictures by yourself. He does a big group picture. I mean, he puts together an amazing trip. Anybody that
awesome.
Doesn't have anybody like me, didn't have anybody that would, I didn't know anybody in Lancaster that would like go to the Gorge, and I didn't know anybody personally at that point that I knew well enough to say, hey, let's get a group up to go to the Gorge. It's perfect for that. It's perfect.
Right.
And my roommate that first year, she was a roller derby queen. I can't remember her name.
Wow.
Her name was Lee. But anyway, I was blown away by all her pictures. A roller derby queen was my
wow,
first
a tough lady. I always equivalent roller derby ladies,
and I never would have
like
met her or anybody
strong.
else if I hadn't just bit the bullet and did it.
And I'm sure you have no regrets at all.
Oh, absolutely not. I would absolutely do it a heartbeat. I'd do it again. Matter of fact, I really want to go back. I want to take some of my son's ashes to the Gorge. They call it Heaven's Amphitheater for a reason.
So let's talk more about that, because of course you've mentioned your son a couple of times. And now, of course, you brought up that you want to take his ashes possibly to the Gorge. So tell us your story. Tell us about your son. Tell us what drives your life now to be a spokesperson for fentanyl overdoses and just education. Tell us your story.
Well, Timothy was 15 and he was bullied at Lancaster High School, and he didn't tell me. I didn't know he was being bullied. And I got a phone call. He was in the hospital. A kid had beat him up within an inch of his life with brass knuckles. His whole face was just completely crushed. His nose was broke in 7 places, and his orbital bone was broke in 3 places. And I remember when I got to the hospital, his face was swollen this big, and the doctor gave me a Valium to calm me down. And they said that they're going to have to operate. And when they took him to Charlotte for the operation at CMC Maine in Charlotte. And it was a fairly complicated surgery. They had to put him to sleep, and they had to keep him asleep, sedated for several days, because if he would have sneezed or coughed or done any kind of movement, it would have messed up everything the doctors did. So that was really scary.
Wow.
But when he came home from the hospital, he got 120 Vicodin a month for pain. And this went on for 9 months.
Was his pain tremendous after getting out of the hospital and having the surgeries? I mean, pain to be expected, right? So they load him up with the medication, and it helped.
I questioned it.
That's a lot. It's a lot.
That's a lot. And they said, Miss Taylor, there's millions and millions of nerve endings in the face.
True.
The way they explained it to me. And they said, you just can't imagine the crush that he felt. And then when we had to go in and reset everything, they said that there just wasn't no way for us to even imagine the pain that he's in.
And any parent would listen to that and accept that.
It got so bad that I walked in on him. He was crushing up the pills and snorting them because it took 30 minutes for him to kick in. And I thought he was snorting cocaine. And I was absolutely horrified. Where in the world could my 15-year-old child get cocaine? And he was like, he wasn't even ashamed or scared that I saw him. He was like, Mama, I'm in pain. It's hurting so bad. And I can't wait. I don't want to wait the 30 minutes it takes to kick in. And one of my friends told me if I snorted it, it would help me instantly. This was how I got welcomed into the world of opioids. I had no idea. And I called the doctor, and the doctor said, no, don't tell him not to do that. Don't do that. Well, once he's already done it, how are you going to tell him not to do that? Or how are you going to stop him from doing that?
Because it does act completely different when it is snorted than when it is swallowed. And so, there's just a different high, and it's fast.
And then the other thing was his anxiety, because when he was being beaten, all the kids formed a circle around him and watched the beating.
My God.
So his anxiety and depression was absolutely through the roof. And I sent him to a therapist who gave him 90 Xanax a month at 15 now.
That's 3 a day.
So 120 Vicodin a month and 90 Xanax a month at 15. And did I question it? Yes. But they were the doctors, not me.
Yes, exactly.
I listened to I made sure he took the fuckers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how are you not supposed to trust your doctor? Medicine. Yeah.
Right?
Right. Most people would trust their doctors, but not all doctors are right.
It developed it took us down this road of drug addiction that I feel like the kid that beat him up is just as bad as the 3 people who ended up killing him. But the situation, he was found, he was a missing person for 3 days.
So what had happened? So you were at home.
They found
gone. You didn't know where he was. Walk us through that.
I got a phone call from his girlfriend. They were engaged. And she said, Gina, Timothy was supposed to come back to the hotel. They were staying in a hotel in Charlotte. And she said he didn't come back home last night. This was Sunday morning. Her mother was in town and had gotten a hotel room for her and Timothy and Brooke and the baby. And she said, did he come home? And I said, well, I would have heard him if he come home last night. And she said, well, you go check. And I said, sure. So I got up and he wasn't there. His car wasn't there. And I said, no. She said, well, I don't understand. She said, he didn't come home and he's not answering his phone. So he didn't answer the phone for me either. So all day long, we kept hunting him everywhere and his phone was turned off and we didn't know what to think. So I finally, about 6 o'clock, I filed a police report for a missing person. And he was missing from Saturday night, all day Sunday, all day Monday. And then Tuesday, the police had called and said that they got a ping on his phone at 2:30 in the morning on Saturday night. And it gave me an address. And my sister goes, I know where he's at. And she typed in that address and went searching for his car. And she found his body.
In the home or in the car?
In the car. He died in this house that the 3 people who killed him were at. And they robbed him. They beat him up, and then they gave him a hot shot of fentanyl. But they gave him enough to kill 3 horses.
And they did it on purpose, maliciously
They
to
did it
kill
on
him.
purpose, maliciously to kill him. They were all charged with manslaughter. They were all convicted. They stole his phone, his backpack. He had a business where he had things that, like, you ever heard of the brand Supreme?
Yes.
Okay, so he had a bot on his computer where, like, if they had a drop, let's say they had a Nike Supreme tennis shoe drop, he would have, his computer would be like 10,000 people trying to buy it at one time, and it was really just him.
Right,
so he might
right.
get 6 pairs of shoes out of that drop.
Right.
Well, where he would list them on like eBay, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace,
Mhm.
and he would get 10 times what he paid for them, because
Right.
if they only dropped 600 pair, then he could get 10 times what the price was, what he paid. So they stole all of his inventory, his phone, his wallet. I would love to have had his driver's license. I would love to have all the pictures that was on his phone. Nothing was ever recovered. We never got anything back when they were finally arrested. But it took 6 months for us to figure out who killed him. And then it took another 2 years for us to go to trial. And then we had to have 3 trials. They were all convicted. They were all convicted of manslaughter. One got 22 years, one got 10, one got 5. The woman that was involved that lured him there, she got 5 years. But she is back in jail now because she was also a drug addict. She went to a rehab facility, and then she was in their work release program where she still stayed in the facility, but she could leave to go to a job and come back home and come back to the facility. And she
Gotcha.
absconded. That was the word they used. And she's been on the run for 2 years. She got caught. They finally found her in May. And so now she has to serve her actual prison time, 5 years, because she never actually went to actual prison. She went to that rehab facility. So now she's going to have to serve her 5 years plus time for escaping.
Good.
And then the one man got 22 years. Well, the guy that got 10 years, he got out early, because if you serve any time in prison, if you don't get in any trouble, you get 2 days marked off for every 1 day you serve. Did you know that?
No, I did not. Wow.
I did not know that either. When I agreed to those deals that they made, I had no idea that 10 years didn't mean 10 years. I had no idea when I signed off. But anyway, he was out for he got out March the 1st. He was out for 45 days. And he got rearrested, and he got arrested for trafficking fentanyl across state lines, trafficking methamphetamine across state lines, failure to stop for a blue light, and driving without a license. So he's facing 35 years in prison now. And the sheriff has already said that I can show up for trial just like I did the first time for Timothy, because he is still a victim.
Got a pattern. He's got a pattern
just as
now.
much. So he's facing 35 years, Renae. He's not getting out anytime soon. Tell you.
Silly our system is.
If it weren't for my Dave Matthews family, which I found through Facebook all those years ago, when I lost Timothy, I don't know that I could have survived it. I got love bombs. I got packages of food. It took me weeks to go through all the messages that I got. And some people met me in person. Some people never have to this day met me in person that sent me messages. And to this day, when I do go to a show, people still come up to me and hug my neck. And the thing that means the most to me is when a mother comes up to me and they'll say, Gina, I read your story, and my son got his wisdom teeth removed, and the doctor gave them Vicodin, or they gave them, an opioid, or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even fill a prescription because of Timothy. I just want you to know that he is still saving lives.
Yes.
He did not die in vain because of what you do every day when you tell his story. My son will not have to go through what you went through, what Timothy went through, because of you, because you telling his story. I didn't even fill the prescription. Or another mother said, my son fell and broke his leg on a ATV accident, and the doctor gave him opioids. And I just told him, hey, look, you're going to have to suffer through it with Tylenol and Motrin, because you know what? We're not going through what Gina and Timothy went through. And that's why I do what I do. That's the reason. I wouldn't wish what we went through on anybody. And if I can just save one life, which I feel like I
You
have.
already have.
I even go to schools and talk to middle school students to tell them about the dangers and the hopes that if they have a friend, those, they used to talk about having those pill parties where kids come and throw pills in a bowl.
That's
Even that
unbelievable to
could
me, but
wind
yes,
up.
I've heard of that. It
I
could kill you.
explain the dangers of them to these kids. And if just one kid is scared to death of seeing Timothy's urn, then I've done what I was supposed to do.
Yep.
I've made a difference.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. And
But when my Dave Matthews people tell me that they didn't give their kid, they didn't fill the prescription because of Timothy, that just means the world to me.
yeah, it's good to.
And it's been a lot of people to do that.
Now, just as a side story, in case someone's listening to this and maybe you've never heard of fentanyl. So fentanyl is traditionally used in hospitals and hospice settings. Hospice meaning end of life, cancer situations, extreme pain after surgeries. Fentanyl is not a drug that people should handle themselves. It has to be a very, very monitored situation by medical professionals. And somehow, as all drugs do, they get out into the world. And how many teenagers know about fentanyl? Are middle schoolers that you're speaking to, are they familiar with even hearing that word?
Most of them raise their hands.
Really? Really?
Well, most TV shows now, they talk about fentanyl.
I'm watching the wrong or the right
President
shows.
Trump talks about it, about coming in from China, fentanyl coming in from China.
Fentanyl's here. It was always here. It may be coming in from somewhere else, but it's always been here. I mean, it's a drug that's commonly used in the hospital, but people are not educated enough.
Right, but that's legit. That's legit.
Yeah, that's
fentanyl.
legit.
What I'm talking
That's
about
legit.
is
Yeah,
people making fake pills.
Making fake. Yes, and that. Yes.
You wouldn't believe the kids that I know of that thought they were buying a Percocet and it was straight fentanyl, fake pills.
Which the only thing I think of, or the first thing I think of in that scenario, is that person that sold it had intent to kill that person because they got to know.
And I don't understand that either. Why kill your customers?
Why? I don't even understand the whole thought of it. Not too long ago, it was actually when I was in Charleston, South Carolina, of all places. We went to go get a tattoo, and there was a penny laying on the floor outside of the tattoo shop. And my friend, as we are, we both like money. I don't care if it's a penny or a quarter. It's more than I had 5 seconds ago. I'll pick it up. But she went down to pick it up, and it just looked weird. And I said, hold on just a second. Let me look at this. And I said, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I just recently heard that people put fentanyl under coins or things that you would pick up off the floor to, get it in your system. And that kind of shit is happening all over the place, which is unbelievable that so many people just want to just straight kill people. I don't know you. I don't even know who's going to pick up that coin. But you know what? Somebody's going to die today. What is happening in your brain for you to want to do that? That blows my mind. It blows my mind. The thought processes of so many people. And I know that that's what was the case with Timothy and the people that he met up with. I mean, the intent was murder. That's what it was, plain and clear. And they
even stole the shoes off his feet, Renae.
Wow.
And even today, when I see a pair of Yeezy tennis shoes, I tear up, like I lose it.
Wow.
It's just you never know. Grief is like waves in the ocean. You don't never know what is going to hit you and how it's going to affect you. But I can't even look at a pair of Yeezy tennis shoes without losing it. Just knowing that they took the shoes off his feet. That's how low life scum they were.
Wow. Oh, that's just awful. It's good to know that you had people that rallied around you that didn't even know you, right? And that speaks so much for the caliber of people that love Dave Matthews Band. Is everyone like that that's a fan of Dave Matthews Band? No, of course not. But the majority of people that show up at these shows and listen to Dave on the regular and really just love this band and what their mission statement is, what they do, what belief system that they have. Just really solid people that are wanting to help other people because they know that people need people, right? We all need each other. It's not a you against me. It's I need you and you need me. And we can all offer up different talents to the table that can help others' lives get easier, just like she used her talents to help you get through something that you had never done before, wished you had never gone through before. And it's just those things like that where it bleeds outside of the music, you know, like, yes, we found each other because we both are fans of Dave Matthews Band. But what ended up happening was so much more. And it's time and time again that I hear these stories from fans that these relationships that are built because of the music end up being such bigger things in our lives than we could have ever imagined, and impactful in so many ways. And I'm just so glad that, you know, as a mom, I think about your scenario and the amount of resources that you needed, and you may not have thought, you don't know any of these things until you need them. So it's just, what do you do? And I'm just so glad people showed up to help you and continue to show up, because like you said earlier, grief is not something that just happens for a period of time and then you're done. It can be part of your life for the rest of your life. And it always probably will be on some level, because you've lost a piece of yourself. And grief is tricky. Grief is really tricky. We've talked about grief a lot on this show, and even someone that has been on the shows that lost his wife, he started a grief podcast. And so Dave Matthews Band fans are doing big things because of the things that they've been through personally. But because of knowing different people through Dave Matthews Band, you have an audience already. You have people that you can tell, people that you can rely on. And you've done that yourself. You've started volunteering your words and some education to these middle school kids in order to prevent this from happening to someone else. And I think that that's so lovely. I hate that you are having to do that because of something just so awful. But I'm so thankful that you have found it to be something that you can do, and that you find joy in doing it because you do know that you're helping other people. So thank you so much for everything that you continue to do after something so tragic. And us parents that are listening to this right now, you know, if we think and put ourselves in the same shoes that you have, we don't even know how we would breathe, you know? So how can we go on and volunteer and talk about it on the regular? But that's such a wonderful thing to do. And what you're doing is amazing. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing, and everything that I know that you're going to continue to do just to make people more aware. Yes. Guys, if you are listening to this on a podcast app, just know that you can watch this whole interview and see Gina's tattoo, which is beautiful, by the way. A hand, like a portrait of Dave, I guess, if you will, in his own little art scheme, along with his signature that she had tattooed, just for asking 3 little questions to Dave. And so the stories of these fans are amazing. Every single time I jump on to record these podcasts, I leave my desk just so thankful, just so appreciative, just so honored, just so many feelings just from being able to share this kind of information. Because there's so many people that are struggling with so many things that are terrible. And so while we think this music really has been such a tool for so many of us to get through shit that we never wanted and we never expected, but this music has been such medicine for us. And the people that have come along with the music is like the cherry on top, right? And so again, thank you so much for what you're doing, guys. Like I said, if you're listening to this on a podcast app, just know that you can watch this on YouTube. And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe to the channels. If you're on a podcast app, subscribe, follow the podcast, leave your reviews. Tell me what you're thinking. Do we need to head a different way? I don't think so. I love what I'm doing, and I think people are responding well to it. But just follow the show, because you never know what's going to be dropped next. And you never know who's going to be on the show. I've met several people just in passing that was like, hey, I watched your show. And I'll give you a for real instance. I was, again, in South Carolina. South Carolina was a big year for me this year. Going down the streets, of course, we had gotten this beautiful shirt, the South Carolina venue. It was just great. It was awesome. Everybody loved it. And so I'm walking down the street, and this guy stopped me. Yeah, the steamboat or whatever. It's such a good shirt, and everybody wanted it, but they sold out so fast. I was wearing it walking down the streets, and a guy stopped me and asked, he was like, I'll pay you $200 for your shirt. And I was like, no, that's okay. That's okay. You're going to be able to find it. I know that you don't think you're ever going to get one, but I promise you, they're going to be available online. I said, do you know about like the DMB? Are you on Facebook? Do you know about the DMB groups? Like, just put it out there. You'll find one, and you won't have to pay $200 for a t-shirt. And at that moment, he looked at me and said, what's your name? And I said, Renae, because again, this is a stranger. And he was like, do you have a podcast? And I said, yes. And he said, the next thing that he said will forever be with me. He said, one of my very good friends was on your show, and what he divulged on the show, I never knew. And this was an addiction to heroin. He never knew that about his friend. So I say that all to say, there's so many people out there that are hurting in ways that you don't know, that you can't see, that you would never think of. So just love on everybody, because we're all going through shit in life, and we're all putting on a smiley face because we want to believe that everything's going to be okay and that everything is okay. And so just continue to love on others. And if you have a story that you're interested in sharing, it doesn't have to be a story like this. Of course not. Not everyone has this story that Gina does. And I'm so thankful that a lot of people don't. But there are others. And there are others that have been through things that can help us learn. Or just the happy stories of listening to Dave Matthews Band music and how it makes you feel. But whatever your story is, if you're interested in sharing it on this podcast, it's just as simple as reaching out to me on any of the socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or you can email me. It's a super easy email. You don't have to worry about writing it down. It's just Renae at the space between podcast dmb.com. And so reach out to me. I'd love to have you on my show. And this journey of how the band has really helped you get through some things. And gosh, Jen, I know that they have really helped you get through this, because this is a major life event. This is something that you're not going to get past. This is something that will be with you forever. And while I know that you feel better now than when you did when it was all happening, there will forever be that piece of pain in your heart, because it's your child. It's your child. And so my heart just goes out to you, and my prayers, you'll stay in them, because I know that you'll continue to need those in whatever that you're doing, and just continue to do all the education things, because that's really all we can do, is educate people and tell people and tell people. So thank you for those people that maybe needed to hear that through this podcast. There's an unlimited ways that your story is going to be able to help people. And so I'm so excited that you chose to share that through this podcast. So thank you so much again. Absolutely. So guys, you never know when the next show is going to come out, because we don't have tour right now. We're all in this holding position where there's no dates known at this time, except for Mexico, which is happening in January. And that's just a Dave and Tim event. So because of that, I really thought that this was a time where I could use this dead space in the air to really just put out as many fan stories as I can. So starting next week, we're gonna push them out pretty fast, at least 2 or 3 a week. So stay tuned. Make sure that YouTube or any of your podcast apps are going to remind you when a new one comes out, and that's just as easy as following those shows, and they'll let you know when the next one comes out. Because again, you never know who's going to be next. But Gina, thank you so much for coming on the show. I hope that you'll come back in a few years because your story continues, your Dave journey continues. And I know that you'll have more to share of the things that you've been doing and have been able to do since our first meetup today. Good. Well, guys, again, stay tuned to the podcast. But in the meantime, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band. Okay, stay on right quick. I'm just going to stop that.